Well, listen. All I'm saying is Death Row. I mean, Snoop continued to do well on his own with other producers.
Not as great as with Dr.
Not as
Dre.
great as, but Death Row could have kept going.
Leaves Dre
if
do
Snoop
that well.
was still on the label, look, Snoop was still
MC
on the label.
Ren said, if Dre didn't do it, I can't fuck with it.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Dog Pound was still on the label.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that sound, bro. You're just not gonna get it.
I mean, Daz produced a lot of big records.
Not like Dre.
Okay, not like Dre, but still, all I'm saying is he had enough to work with. If he was a serious business person and wasn't trying to play a role of this super gangster with all these bloods around him.
I agree.
And made it a comfortable, environment. For example, like TDE. You don't really see people leaving TDE.
No.
I mean, Kendrick left TDE.
Well, his contract was up and he wanted to be his own boss.
But he was still supportive of those guys.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
His family,
like he went on tour with SZA, who was TDE's biggest artist.
Absolutely.
He didn't have to do that.
Absolutely.
Kendrick could have toured all by himself.
Yeah.
He did not need SZA.
Absolutely.
He did it.
That's his family.
Because it was a good idea and it made financial sense. And I think to also, okay, I'm comfortable working with this group. I want to continue to work with Top and all them. And look, biggest tour probably ever at this point.
Right.
Right? You don't hear about Top beating people up. I know Top.
Yeah.
We talk on the phone. We've run into each other. Like, he's a cool dude. I've never had any sort of like, we've had disagreements. I remember he called me about something, but he like politely explained it to him. I'm like, okay, let me look. Okay, yeah. That was it.
Yeah,
it was
Top didn't get into it for these reasons that a lot of other people
No, I think he saw Death Row and Ruthless and said, okay, here's what not to do. Now, here's what to do in terms of the musical aspect and whatever, but here's all the pitfalls that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to, make people drink pee.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to beat people. I'm not going to have a bunch of gangsters in the studio making people feel uncomfortable. And like Bob James would explain it. It'd be like, a bunch of jail dudes in the studio. One of them just got into an argument with their girlfriend. They're pissed off. Go just smack somebody just because they're annoyed. Now you got this, DOC would describe how like tense it would be because he'd just be there by himself. He didn't have a bunch of guys. Like Snoop had like Trady and all the Long Beach guys with him, right? Doc was just by himself, just stressed out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hoping nobody assaults him.
Like, shaking.
Like, I'm just trying to do my job. I ain't got no voice. Yeah. I'm just trying to write. Make a few checks here. And
I mean, just leave. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, that's almost like Cassie's shit. Like, you could have walked out, my nigga. You went home all the time.
Yeah.
You didn't have to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
DOC, though, was in a special place. Like,
I kind of understand, but he was Dre's friend, too.
That was Dre's guy. Yeah. I don't think DOC could have gone somewhere else and made money as a writer in the same way that Dre would have taken care of him. But then again, Dre didn't really take care of him because the money was never quite right.
Right.
He never really got everything.
That's another reason to leave. That's what I'm trying to say too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, Suge, I think the first time he got out of jail, he should have revamped Death Row and he should have hired another person to stand in his place and just directed everything from the back. That's what he should have did.
But he's also
and he would still have it.
Remember the Tupac, he violated his probation over the MGM fight.
That's what I'm saying.
So he got, he had to go to prison for a while. Then Reggie had to take over.
Yeah,
and kind of keep it going.
But that wasn't. I mean, he should have got a professional. You know what I mean? Like
they got Crooked I, but they couldn't really develop him. And Crooked I, went on to become a solid artist, but he never got to a level of a Snoop Dogg,
right,
or an Eminem,
right. Which is shameful because that boy is so raw.
No, he spits.
Yeah,
but he didn't have the machine to turn him into that.
I understand.
So ultimately, look, the label got sold and resold, and ultimately Snoop ended up taking it over, and he put out a few projects with some of the older artists, but I don't think anything was really reacted. I mean, it's just a legacy label at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really checking for the next Death Row release.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
There's
too much ego, man. Too much ego and too much pride, and I mean, they got to live with it. So hey.